Okay, so here we are looking at question number 2 here in section 13.2. So we're looking at, I'll read the question at the top. And it says, an education researcher is interested in students' motivation to study local history. The researcher believes that, now you might have something different. It has other versions. Instead of local history, it might be math class or something else, whatever, it changes it up. The researcher believes that if students attend a small group work session, they will be more likely to show interest in local history. So whatever, blah, 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 blah. So let me show you the data. It's a 2x2 ANOVA table. Why do we say 2x2? Well, because this is 1, 2, and this is 1. In fact, let me change the color just to make it more clear. 1, 2. So it's a 2x2 ANOVA table. So what they've done is they put factor A at the top, treatment, meaning no extra work versus extra time with a group. So they're basically saying, hey, if people spend more time with the group, are they going to do better at the history or the math or whatever exercise thing or whatever your question has? It's basically saying if they spend extra time with the group, is that going to make a difference versus no extra time working with the group? Now, that's one of the factors. That's the main factor we're testing. Does time with the group make a difference? But there's another factor that we're considering as well. We have some people that speak only English versus some multilingual people. Does that affect how interested they are in local history? Maybe, maybe not. So the purpose of, so again, how would you know this is ANOVA? Well, it helps that it says it's ANOVA, but even if they didn't say that, we have 2 factors affecting whether people are interested in whatever it is or doing well in the math class, or in this case, it's the history class. You know, what's affecting it? Is it whether they have a group, like group time or not, or whether they're an English only speaker or multilingual? Does one of those, you know, does the group thing affect it more? Does the language thing affect it more? Or maybe the interaction between the two, only the multilingual people in groups or something like that, you know? That's whenever you have more than one factor affecting something, you're trying to research it, really common in all kinds of fields, you do a 2-way ANOVA test. All right, so now the real trick becomes how to put this in your calculator, because you can't just type this in just like this into our calculator. Now, this is where it's really nice to use computers, actually way better than our little TI calculators is, and maybe I'll show that in another video, how to do this using Excel or Google Sheets. Probably do it on Google Sheets since that's free and everybody has that. Google Sheets. In industry, they use programs like SPSS, which is a statistical package a lot of psychology majors use and sociology majors. Anyway, software is even better because in the software, you can just type this in directly and tell the computer to go and it just handles it for you. But with the calculator, it's not quite as user-friendly. So we have to type the data in 3 columns. What am I talking about? Well, if you hit this data button right here, this is a user-friendly problem. This is easing you in. So I included a data button, or the professor who wrote it. I didn't write this. I can't take credit for that. I got this off the internet. Whatever professor wrote this, he or she included a data button. If you click on that data button, it shows you exactly, well, almost exactly, how you're supposed to put it into your calculator, into your TI calculator, just like that. Y'all see that? Now you're going to need to figure this out for yourself on other questions in the homework. So spend some time looking at what they did. So let me clarify what they did. So basically, see how up here in the table, let me show you. So this is 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. There, you see what I'm saying? This is 1, 1, meaning factor 1, this one. This is 1, 2, 1, 2. This is 2, 1. What am I? You might be thinking like, what are you talking about? 1, 1, 1, 2. What? I'm talking about these numbers because in our calculator, this is going to be 1. Well, yeah, no, that's right. Actually, that's what I want. I want 1 for the. Oh, wait. Sorry, guys. I'm getting confused myself. Let me try this again. Let me erase these. Okay. Let me try this again. So there's supposed to be 1. The A is supposed to come first. and then the B. There we go. Okay, now it's better. Come on. Okay, so now it's better. Anyway, so the point is this is 1, 1, right? Why did I do it that way? I'm putting the A in the front. See how the A is always in the front? The A, and then the B is always in the back, the B, the languages. Because that's how I'm going to put it in the calculator. Let me show you. So this is, the control is 1. The treatment is 2. The control is 1. The treatment is 2. And then for that's factor, this is factor A, notice, treatment, factor A, treatment, right up here, factor A, treatment, right? And then for factor B, languages, that's right here, factor B, languages. The English only is 1. How do you know? English only is 1. Multilingual is 2. Everybody seeing that? So English only, whoops, sorry. English only is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and well, these are all ones. All these are English only. And then the multilingual are all 2s. So this is what you're going to have to put into your TI calculator. You're going to have to put it into, so where do we put this in our calculator? You have to go second and then hit the X to the -1 matrix button. And then you have to go, you hit second and that, then you're going to go over to the, isn't it the edit menu? Maybe here, let me actually show it and then I'll remember it better. So here's my calculator. Let me clear this. I'm gonna turn this on. There it is. Clear it. Okay. I'm gonna hit second matrix. I'm gonna go over to edit. That's right. So I go over twice to the edit menu. And then I'm gonna need to go down 3 times to matrix D and hit enter. So down to matrix D, hit enter. And there's matrix D. Now I'm going to need to set up what size that thing is. What size do I need it to be? I don't know. How many of these are there? Is it 28? Yeah, it looks, yeah, these are 7 per group, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7. So this is 7, 7, 7, 7, 4 times 7, 28. Yeah. So we need a matrix that's 28 by 3 and hit enter. So I'll do that here. So this will be 28, enter, 3, enter. There we go. So it sets up a 28 by 3 matrix D for you. And then you have to put in all of this data. All of this data. But these numbers, right? 1, again, how did I come up with 1 for control and 2 for treatment? Well, I just went to this original table they gave me. In fact, maybe it'd be easier if I just did it right. Sorry, keep sliding away from me. Did it right here for you. I just did this up here is treatment up here. Treatment, and this is 1 for treatment, 1 for treatment. No, sorry. Treatment, 1, 1, and 2, 2 for treatment. That was factor A. Factor A is treatment, which is a 1 for, what was it? It was no work, no extra work. No extra work. And then this is, and this other one is extra group work. So that's 2. So you just go, this is 1, this is 2. And then for the English, only is 1 and 2. So you just, the first columns, it's just 1, 2, 1, 2. And so this will be 1, 1, 2, 2. So that's how I'm doing it. All these numbers have to be with 1, 1. See how they're all with 1, 1, 1? right there. And all these numbers, yeah, they come next. By the way, yeah, notice how they typed them in. Do you see this? They went first here, obviously that everybody knows to start there, but they went here next. They went there next. And they typed, those are all 2 ones, aren't they? 2 1. This is the hard part, is getting straight how you do the other columns. That's what's hard about this. Everybody seeing that? How I'm coming up with that? So what I suggest you do, because on the other problems, they're not going to give us this helpful data display. They're just going to give us this table, and we have to figure it all out from there. That's where it gets truly hard. So, but you can do it. Just write down 1 1 2 1 1 2 2 2, and then just make sure as you put them in, you follow those numbers for that data. How do you know which one comes first? Well, see, it says factor A is first. See the big A here? And the B is second. It's always A first, B second. And they tell you what they are. It says treatment A, language is B. So I make sure the A one always comes first. And the B one always comes second. So type in the data that way to your calculator. When you're done with the data, so I'll say enter the data. Enter data, and then when you're done, you hit second and the mode quit button. Quit all that. And then we'll shift gears and you're going to hit program, PRGM, the program button. And you're going to choose the A1 ANOVA program and hit enter. And after you hit enter on the A1 ANOVA program, it's gonna ask you for something. It's gonna you got to hit enter a couple of times, and then it'll ask you. It'll give you options. You want to choose 2, which is random block design, which is what we're doing. Random block design, and hit enter. And after you hit that, you're going to get, I'll just say, a screen full of stuff. Don't worry about reading any of that. Just hit enter again. I know it's confusing. It's waiting for you just to hit enter again. And when you hit enter again, then it'll say, okay, do you really want to continue? And you choose 2, continue, and hit enter again. Then it'll run for a long time. And finally, when it does, it'll give you some output. And what it'll say is it'll say f of a and then a p-value. And then it'll say f of b. And these answers go right there. This treatment is A. It's the whether they're in the group or not. If you look up at the top, we said treatment was whether they were in the group. That's what we're treating them with. We're putting them in a group or not. Treatment, that's A, and then here it wants the p-value. And then it wants you to answer, does this support the researcher's hypothesis that the treatment has an effect? Has an effect. Well, if the p is low. So if the p is low, then it's a yes, right? That's when something is having an effect. If the p is low, it's significant. There's a low chance of luck. It's really powerful data. Now, lower than what? Well, they gave you an alpha level up here in the beginning, I think. If you go to the beginning, whoa, I just went too far there. Where is it? Yeah, my alpha is 0.02. Right here. Yours might be different. My alpha is 0.02. It says use 2x2 ANOVA with alpha 0.02. So in my case, it's below 0.02. Yours might be different. So if the P is low, if the P is less than 0.02 in my case, then it'll be yes, meaning that thing affects it. And A is the group, spending time with the group. Does that help them with the math class or the history class or the whatever? And so then the next one, by the way, at this point, it'll just show you those three. And here's F of B right here. Then you have to hit enter. It'll just show you those three. It'll show you a bunch of other junk, and then it'll show you those three. You have to hit enter. The calculator's waiting for you to hit enter. Then it'll show you the second page, which it'll give you that p-value. And those go there. And again, if the P is low, if the P is less than 0.02, then it's a yes. Otherwise, it's a no. And that would be for language. Does language affect how well they do in their history class? And then the final one is down here. It'll show you an F of AB and a p-value. That's called the interaction effect. So does the group time and the language thing, do they together in some strange interaction affect how well people do in the history class or the math class or whatever? Is it an interaction? So that's what's interesting about two-way ANOVA. We can test if two things are individually affecting a result, or if it's their interaction, like only the multilingual people in the group work or something like that. Anyway, so that's what the AB is. It's the interaction. And again, does this support the research that the treatment effect is moderated by language? Meaning moderated means affected. Affect. That's just a fancy way. It's if you moderate something, you modify it, you change it, right? So is it affected by language, that treatment and language kind of affect each other? If the P is low, less than 0.02, then it says, oh, by the way, I think I answered the wrong thing on the second one, didn't I? Back here, does this support the researchers? Language does not. Oh, it says does not. Does not. Oh, so they're being tricky. They're asking me a not. I didn't read the fine print. I just remembered that. So careful, they're being tricky here. So they're saying, does it not? Because the researcher thought language did not. So if the P is not low, then it's a yes. The researcher was right. It does not affect it. You see what I'm saying? They're being tricky. Basically, if the P is low, that thing affects it. And they're saying, hey, he thought it doesn't affect it. Is he right? So if the P is not low, then he's right. It doesn't affect it. Watch out. They're asking us a not question, which is always tricky on that. All right. And then after all of that, general questions. I'm glad to answer general. I'll help you with your individual stuff in just a second. But general questions about what this means or how this so far, I'd be glad. Even I'm making a video here, but this is helpful to everybody. If you have general questions, sometimes later students will ask great questions. They'll think, oh, I wish I had that in the video. Any general questions about like, why does this mean that? Or how do we do this or that? Please speak up. It's helpful to everybody. All right, then the final thing here, number 4 is, so how do we, based on these findings, what group can you say had the higher average on the test? So we have a lot of options: English only, multi-language, group, no extra work, group extra work, English in the control, blah, 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 blah. How do you know? Well, it's all about which p-values are low, huh? You just simply look for which p-values are low. So go back here to this and look right here and look at this p-value, look at this p-value, and look at this, or you could just do them right here. Just look at this. Look at this p. I'm having a little trouble here. All right. Look at this p-value, this p-value, and this p-value. Look at those three. Anytime a p-value is low, if it's less than, my alpha was 0.02, yours is something different, probably 0.01 or 0.05. But if it's low, then that thing affects it. It's simply put. If it's low, then that thing is having an effect on how well the people are doing in the history class or the math class or whatever. So if the first one is low, that would mean it's the group work, because A was group. If the second one is low, that would mean it's the language thing, whether they're English only or multilingual. And if it's the third one, then it's the interaction between language and group work. So those are the three. So down here, you just have, no, mine, usually it's group doing extra work. Mine, the one I did, the one I ran, it was just group. How do I know? Because my p-value here was super low. It was like 0.00, oops, sorry, my O's aren't coming out too well. 0.003 or something. And that's lower than 0.2, right? Because that decimal's further, right? Here's 0.2. Right, are we good there? I got like 0.003, and that's smaller than 0.2, isn't it? Because the decimal's further over. It's like 20 compared to 3, right? So yeah, so my P was really low for my group A. My P was higher here. It was like 0.13, which is high. This p-value was high. This one was low, and this other p-value was high as well as 0.46 or something. I can't remember, but it was high. So in my case, my only low one was my A. My A one was a low p-value. So, and which is the group work, right? The group work is the A. So that was the only, any one that's low, that's the one that's having a bigger effect. That's making students do better. That's having an effect. The p-values that are not low are not having an effect. So mine was group doing extra work. They're the ones that have the higher average. They're the ones having the effect. And so there we go. General questions on how to do that? Buttons to hit? Please speak up now. Glad to answer. Is that all good? All right, there we go.